Welcome back, folks. Hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend. We have a Q&A session for you. We're going to have a good time here tonight and hope that you guys, whether you're on the road, maybe watching this on your phone, or whether you're back in the living room safe and sound, we're going to have a lot of topics. As this is week one, I'm really excited about it, and it's about time. We're going to have some announcements for you later in the week, too, but we'll get cutting here tonight, and let's get it started. Welcome to RGR Football. Hey, Mr. Harms, how are you?
Oh, I am hanging in there. Just been a day. I'll leave you guys the details, but it's been a day.
I get it. Well, hopefully tonight will go better and the week can get on its way and get done. So, folks, this is Dan Harms. You can follow him at InHarmsWay19 over there on Twitter. I know because all of you guys love Twitter so much. It's really such a clean and happy place to be these days. But hey, I hope that you guys enjoyed your holiday weekend. I am freshly back. Just the last 4 or 5 hours been home, put something on the smoker. So we're gonna answer your questions tonight. I don't think we're gonna have a huge crowd, so we're probably not gonna go the whole hour. And because if I make my wife wait for dinner any longer than I already have, I'm probably gonna be in trouble. But it's that like twitchy time for me. Like we don't have anything to talk about like of substance yet.
Yeah.
We should see practice here in the next day or two and have an idea who's where, what's going to be the adjustments, not only to the Willie Gay injury, but how they're going to look at attacking the Cleveland Browns. I think that's going to be really telling. And hopefully, like years past, I think week one might have a couple of tricks up its sleeve. Do you?
Definitely. Andy Reid's I think especially because the Browns have now been labeled an up-and-coming AFC team, I think that he's going to have something specific for this team so that he can be like, hey, guys, remember, we're still here. And he wants to come out week one and lay a smackdown, is my opinion.
I kind of feel the same way. And he should. I think that you should try to set the tone. And a lot of teams and a lot of other teams around the league feel that Cleveland is a contender. I think that's very important too. You smash them off the go. And I don't mean smash like you're going to blow them out. I mean smash like you go at them aggressively and you attack them with everything that you have. You open up the arsenal, even though you are a back-to-back Super Bowl team. I think that is important. We're going to get to your questions here, folks. But again, this is just kind of the feel that we have right now because we don't have any solid information. The beat reporters will be back, I believe, tomorrow. And should have a little bit more information, and cross our fingers. We'll find out when we find out, and we're going to go from there. A couple of updates. I do want to make a cool announcement that I haven't put on Twitter yet. That'll probably happen tonight or tomorrow. I am going to be leaving the Locked On NFL show, the daily, where I'm on Thursdays with a co-host, and I'm going to be taking over the NFL Draft Show with Eric Crocker, the two of us, along with quite a lineup that we're getting ready to announce. And we are going to be talking draft year round 5 days a week. So I will, of course, bring my perspective of the front office and all that to it because I don't have time to watch film on college guys until it's time. But Eric will do some of that. We'll also have some guests I think you guys are really going to dig. And so it's going to be a twist on what you may have heard from the Locked On NFL show. And I'm really hoping to make a big deal out of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe we can squeeze Dan over there. Or,
you never know. I might make an appearance every now and then.
Cross-pollination always works, right? So that's something. And you guys will know all that information because you're a sub. So like and sub and hit the bell for those of you that haven't. And for our members, thank you very much. I hope you guys are enjoying the Discord. Discord is the newest perk for the members. If you want to join that, there's a button called join underneath Dan's lovely microphone over there. And you can
I think it's like over here.
Yeah, somewhere right about there. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the questions. Madman wants to know how many passing yards do you target for Patrick this year? I'll let you start because I don't have a clue.
So really it depends for me because I do think they want to run the football a little bit more. And yes, you have that extra game. And it's really going to be about how efficient Patrick Mahomes can become with a better run game. Because just because you take away some of those pass attempts doesn't mean he can't get to those numbers anyway. I think I have him at about 53. I think 53 is pretty attainable this season. And considering just how efficient they could actually become. We see offenses around the NFL, like the Browns, like the Titans, they are really efficient. If the Chiefs can form some semblance of a consistently available run game that you have to actually account for, that will open literally everything up for, and it'll be right at Patrick's fingertips. Like he can just read the defense and then throw. So I have it right this year about 53, just trying to
Okay.
get it in there.
And for me, I think if the efficiency takes off in that, and he doesn't have to rely, he doesn't have to play catch up so many times. I think he will still have the big long plays, and that will obviously always pad some of those numbers. But I think in the end, if the offense itself is more efficient, he doesn't have to throw for as many. So I'm going to take the under of 5 and say like 4,700 and 14 wins, and I'll get out of the house and feel good about it. You know what I mean?
I could definitely see that.
And folks, I do want to point out, Madman did it right. These question marks here at the beginning of his question let me know that that's a question for us, and you guys aren't asking each other stuff that I start answering for no reason. So, you got to roll with the old guy here. And I do want to zoom us out here for a second. This live stream, the Q&A on Monday, as well as Chief in the North on Thursday night, they're at 6 p.m. Central all the time, every week, every time we go live. If we do a special or something, we'll throw that in there. And obviously the post-game broadcast will be whenever the post game is, usually in the evenings. Even like if they play early, we'll still do it in the evening so everybody has a chance to get in there. So just remember that 6 p.m. is our time slot. That's where you can find us here on this channel. FLDB, thank you, sir. A member and a super chatter. We appreciate the support as always. And I'm glad that you had fun with this. The RGR fantasy draft that Aaron runs went off without a hitch. Looks like it was a fun time, and he's still a good sport. Wishing everyone good luck. So I'm glad to see that. Thanks, FLDB. Appreciate that. And there's a lot going on in that Discord. If you guys want to get in there again, you just got to jump up, become a member at the starter level or above, and we'll get you slid over there. But you do have to send me an email for that. And you got to email me here at rgrpodcasts@gmail. That's how it gets to me, and that's how I get you invited and added to it. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, so we are starting to get the questions in here. So I'm going to go back up because you know me, now I'm behind, of course.
And for those of you that are in the Discord that actually want my opinions on things or whatnot, I have now downloaded it to my phone. So if you just at me in whatever conversation you're wanting, either my opinion, you want to ask something, that I can finally start to answer more questions this way. So it's not just on my computer, and I can actually have time to look at it. So
rock and roll. I like that. I should do that too. I just haven't had a chance. And you guys may know a couple of things here, wider view, changing the studio a little bit for the season. So I have more coming on that as well. We're going to have a couple of different camera angles and see what we can do to liven things up here. Good question, Leslie Huff. Thanks for asking about Dan. Dan's over on his channel. That's Thunder Dan 88. He is doing his streams. He is doing his content. When he's had a really busy summer, and maybe when he gets everything straightened out, we'll get him back on there. If not, you can always find him on ThunderDan88 on his channel here on YouTube, as well as all of his social media. So check him out. McGuire, I like it. You in favor of us eventually bringing back Albert Wilson and obviously getting rid of D-Rob in the process? I am not. I don't think that Albert does and has progressed beyond what he was when he was here with the Chiefs. I haven't seen him grow as a player, and I don't know that there's anybody, even including D-Rob, that I think would be able to step in, and I don't think he's going to kick anybody off the roster, I guess is what I'm saying. Dan, am I wrong?
So you're not wrong, but he also hasn't played in like 2 years. He's been injured, like both years he's been injured. He's had season-ending injuries at some point. But what Albert Wilson would actually bring to this team is a true slot receiver, someone with like a Cole Beasley, if you will, someone that can get open on third downs with short area quickness. McColl does not necessarily bring that. Hey, what's going on? So I think that that's something that he would bring, a different element that the Chiefs don't really use a whole lot of. But I don't think he's kicking anybody off the roster. So I would agree in that aspect.
All right, fair enough. And you know, good for Bert for making his career. And if he's unable to stay healthy, that's going to kind of limit it, but that's okay. And hey, if you got to address some child things, no big deal. We will carry the load here. Hi, hon. And she's back. Good night, Dad. Lego wants to know, will Hardwin be in jeopardy if he doesn't perform this year? I mean, in jeopardy of getting cut? No. In jeopardy of not getting signed to an extension? Absolutely. He will play out his rookie year in Kansas City, or his rookie contract in Kansas City no matter what. He would have to do something like off the field inglorious kind of stuff to really not do that.
Very much so. I don't think that there's any way that he doesn't stick it out. And we're all hoping that he can stick. That's what you want
Mhm.
draft picks to do, is what you want highly, top 100 draft picks to do. You want them to stick. So I'm hoping to see him take a next step this year, actually get, more outside reps and win those outside reps.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. This is a great question, Kansas City Chiefs. Grant Delpit or Juan Thornhill, who do you like more? Go ahead, Dan.
Juan Thornhill. And I think Delpit, if I remember correctly, fits more of a box type safety role. I don't remember exactly if I feel like he's better down there I won't say making plays in the run game because he could not tackle coming out of college,
Right.
but he did seem to get downhill a little bit better. I think that Juan fits the more of a single high, actually with the full range of safety kind of play. So I personally take Juan. That's not to say anything bad about Delpit outside of his tackling issues. I think he was a great prospect.
Well, he also was injured his rookie year.
Yeah.
Like we don't know
We don't
what
know.
the NFL version of Delpit is. And that has me concerned for him. It's unfortunate for both these guys to have injuries so early. I too would take Juan though at this point because we don't know what Delpit's going to be at this level. College, I would say Delpit probably had the more outstanding career. I thought Juan played solid, but he wasn't the guy that made game-changing plays with enough regularity to make him outshine him there. But that's why the NFL is what it is. It is a huge transition to the professional league. So I'm with you there. But that's a great question. Thank you for that one. Canadian Chief, cheers to you. Hope you're doing well. Any news on Clark playing this Sunday? Nothing yet. I haven't seen anything. Now, I've been kind of out and about all weekend, so maybe I missed something. But
by all accounts, I think he's going to play. Let me just pull this up really quick.
Right. Okay.
There.
Check that, and I'll see what else is going on here. Samuel.
This is the thing. He's listed as their starting right defensive end. So I'm going to assume, for all intents and purposes, that come Sunday, he's going to be the starting defensive end, the opposite of Chris Jones.
Yeah, that's my thought as well.
Yeah.
Samuel, the Browns in a win-win situation regardless of Sunday's outcome. I mean, they still lose. You still get an L if you lose, but they're in a position to prove and I think get valuable information for themselves about where they are in their development. I like what Stefanski has done as the coach. The question for me has always been, is Baker Mayfield a franchise quarterback or not? And this is where the rubber meets the road. You're going to go up against the best quarterback in the league. And if they put up 28 points and they lose, I think that's still a good outcome for them. I don't know that I'd call it a win-win, but it's definitely not like a terrible outing for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, their next 3 games after they play the Chiefs are the Texans. You have the Texans, the Bears, and the Vikings. So I think that those are 3 pretty reasonable games to bounce back from if you come off of a loss to the Chiefs. There's a lot of room for them to grow. There's a lot of defensive growth that has to happen. We're going to talk about it for the pregame show, with the whole everything I've got note-taking wise that I'm going to go through. But there's a lot of performing that the Browns have to do for themselves as a team with that defense. It's a young defense. They've also brought a lot of other players in. They have to have time to mesh. So I wouldn't necessarily say win-win. It's really more of a measuring stick. Where are you at? Just kind of giving you that right off the bat.
Yeah, and that feedback is everything that the team needs in week 1. And what Dan's talking about is the game plan video. If you guys are newer to the channel, you weren't here for last season, Friday is game plan day, where we will tell you not only what we think the Chiefs will do, but what they ought to do in order to secure the win that week. It is our game plan session for the Chiefs team on that opponent. That'll hit Friday about the time everybody gets off of work, East Coast time, because, as Chiefs Kingdom grows, we are not just Central Time, folks. It is all over the place. And you would be surprised the number of people that I hear from in Europe and Hawaii and all over the place that are way out of the time zones.
Awesome.
So we try to make it a Central Time. We'll pre-record those so that you'll have it at a time that makes sense for everybody. So keep an eye out for that on Friday after Chief of the North the next day. We answered Samuels. And Patrick, thank you for that one. I like that. Nice to see everybody. Zane said, should we have drafted Terrace Marshall over Nick Bolton? Bolton has underperformed a little bit. He hasn't performed at all. It's been the preseason. There's nothing that you can hold to the preseason in terms of performance. I like Terrace Marshall, and I think because of I don't know. I'll stop. You go first.
So here's the thing. You have to take it with a little bit of a difference. Terrace Marshall, if you go watch the games he's played in the preseason, mind you, he's wide open. Like he's not making guys, he's not creating any space for himself. And that's not to say he can't. And Nick Bolton has had a good camp. He's still learning a very difficult defense, mind you. When you come into an offense that you were in college, by the way, Joe Brady is his offensive coordinator, was his offensive coordinator at LSU 2 years ago. It's a very easy thing to pick up. It is not easy to pick up a defense, especially a Spags defense that requires you, if when not only are you learning, two different linebacker systems, he's also been learning the green dot a little bit because he eventually will take that over. There's a lot of mental stuff going on Nick Bolton's side that is not going on Terrace Marshall's side. So you have to take that in my opinion. My personal 100% my own opinion. Yes, I would have taken Marshall over Bolton, but considering the linebacker issues that they're currently having with Willie Gay dealing with yet another injury, I understand doing it, especially because you have to replace Anthony Hitchens eventually. So,
yeah,
my own personal views aside, the Bolton pick makes more sense than the Marshall pick does.
Yeah, and that comes down to who's on the roster, and
Mhm.
and I agree with you. I had Marshall well above Nick Bolton on my
Yeah.
board as well, but the difference being is that the wide receiver core in Carolina is about as depleted as the linebacker core is
Yeah.
here in Kansas City. So it is a question of opportunity, and like you said, it's not been separation by creation; it's been separation by scheme to this point for him, and not necessarily the offensive scheme that he's running, but the defensive vanilla that his opponents have been running to
Yeah.
this point. Let's see what he does. Would I've loved to have seen him become the X in this offense? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's always a second contract. We can see what happens.
You never
Chris,
know.
do you think that Frank Clark gets traded or cut this next off season? I do think it releases in the future unless something drastically changes.
If he has a breakout year in Kansas City for his breakout season, he'll stay. If he has another season like he's had, I think that, he's going to get released.
Yeah.
I think that's coming.
That's what I'm thinking too. I missed a Ben Brotbeck, I think, but
Mhm.
Big Jack KC, is Dan really slated as the starter over Juan? Don't get me wrong, I love Dirty Dan, but I'm a little dissatisfied that Juan has been named that guy on the back end, or hasn't been named the guy on the back end. I mean, Spags views them as interchangeable. Unfortunately, he doesn't see someone as that's my center fielder. If he did, then it would be Juan. He feels that Dan Sorensen brings enough. And quite frankly, I think they're trying to push Juan a little bit because I don't think he's 100% back confidence-wise from the injury. Am I reading something or am I missing something, Dan?
That's all I can put into it. Otherwise, I think that they're making a big mistake. If they think he's fully mentally back, I think that it's a mistake. But again, as much as we want to read into the depth chart, you can have a guy labeled as the starter and have Thornhill play more snaps than Sorensen does come week one. I think that will be the case, but we're going to have to obviously see how it goes. I think that they're just kind of trying to get him back into that mental preparedness area.
I agree
Trying
with
to
you.
earn that spot back.
100%. And honestly, I can't fault him for that. I think, good athletes, mature athletes respond to pressure like that. And I think that he will. I do want to say too, I missed a super chat from Ben Brotbeck. I didn't get to it fast enough. Thank you, Ben, as always.
Very much.
I will continue to look for your comments. In fact, I think I was really close. So I think I see what you were going to talk about. Curtis asked about how big a difference is there between Willie Gay and Nick Bolton. They're apples and oranges in terms of their roles, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cut and dry what it is. You have an extremely over the top athlete in Willie Gay. And not that Nick Bolton isn't athletic, but there's a reason that Willie Gay was going to be playing a ton of passing down snaps in this defense. And Nick Bolton is going to get to that point eventually. I'm not sure he's there yet. And I think that's why you're going to see Ben Neiman playing more of those roles with Anthony Hitchens early on in this season. He's still learning everything. Yeah. Willie has the defense under him. For the most part, he's the better athlete. So it's going to be a lot of trying to figure out what these athletes do best. And I think Bolton is better downhill. Side to side isn't his greatest strength. Willie Gay can go side to side and he can move. So I think that's really what it comes down to.
I think the bottom line is that what you should expect is that it will be Nick and Willie playing next to each other in different roles in the future. Yeah. And that's why it's not a slight against Nick at all.
No.
I think Nick is an upgrade in athleticism from the guy he will eventually replace in Anthony Hitchens, and that's okay. Although a lighter Anthony seems to be a little bit more spry, and I like
He's
that.
Moving.
Brian, how concerned are you about Tyron being in the protocol? Not very. We probably would not have heard of it if he has passed tests and has gotten back. We probably won't hear about that till the press conference tomorrow. So I wouldn't worry about not getting news on it, Avery.
Maybe if Andy's playing a little gamesmanship here, and maybe he waits till later in the week. Who knows?
Hey, that's going to keep Baker's interest. I'll tell you that. And Avery has one here. Over under 8 Pro Bowlers and 4 All Pros off of this roster this year. I'm going to take the under on the Pro Bowl, but I'm going to take the over on the All Pros.
I'm going to take under on both. I don't think they can get, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they get voter fatigue with Patrick Mahomes. Who knows, man?
Yeah, never. I saw that headline too, and I'm like, no, just watch him play again. No, there'll be no fatigue. Yeah. Ben wanted to know, how do you think the O-line will do in real situations? I think it'll be an extension of what you've seen to this point. Will there be some more hiccups, especially week 1 with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney going after Lucas Niang? Yeah, there's going to be some missteps.
Yeah, we're going to have a nice conversation for the Friday show because I've got a lot of stuff to talk about the Browns defensive front. It's going to be dicey, I think is the word I'll stick with right now. They're going to get a nice welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, for sure. And we will have the counteraction or what we think ought to happen for that. Do you expect Spags to blitz more, less, or the same this year? I expect about the same. He doesn't really vary his percentages that much. He only varies who he sends from year to year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I would say too.
Brian, Dan said it best before. If Frank sees this as if I want to stay, I got to take it up and have a career year, then I think he will. I think it's just about the motivation. Mm-hmm. Spencer, I get that Creed is a center, but it seems like he hasn't talked enough for Gas good as he's looking so far.
He's just
about him as good as he's looking. Is he undervalued right now? I mean, all centers are, aren't they?
Centers are extremely undervalued, and I can tell you for a 100% fact that Trey Smith is taking some of the shine from Creed Humphrey in terms of how well that they've played, barring where they've been drafted. A lot of people will look at Trey Smith, the 6th-round pick, and just kind of talk more about him, the fact that he's a starter now. But Creed's been impressive, not only just because he's not a rookie, but the fact that I think he's on a page with Patrick Mahomes, mentally speaking, with lining up coverages, and he's going to obviously get a whole boatload of work in the first couple of weeks to get his mind together, but I think that he's extremely prepared and he's going to have a very good season.
Yeah, I agree. And I did want to mention hello to Japan. We got that
thank you
up here a little bit ago. Nice to see you. We have another one here. How do you feel about the secondary, Dan?
I'm excited about the secondary. I think that there's a lot of youth, a lot of talent there, and that, considering what we've seen out of the Spags secondary in the past, they don't get challenged too much. They do a lot with the safeties, and really, I think last year they had one of the best, when I say best, I mean like the worst completion percentages against wide receivers in the NFL, which is a good thing for your defense. And that's what you're probably going to see more of. I'm a little worried that Spags is going to put Charvarius Ward on Odell Beckham in the first game of the season because I'm like 97% sure that we're going to see that. So that leaves me a little worried, but there's a lot of youth, a lot of talent. I'm willing to put my faith in Steve Spagnuolo. Which is
good for you. Well, and I don't even know that they'll put him on him. It's just that he won't protect him from being the left cornerback, and
that's true.
You know, that's what it comes down to. Good vision there, Steven. I like that one. Welcome to you from the Netherlands on the other side of the world. So you guys have 14 time zones covered there. Well done.
So crazy. Thank you. That's awesome.
I'm glad everybody's pumped for football because I am.
Right.
Ben, thank you again. That's second from Ben. Cheers.
You're awesome, Ben.
And I know he's got a comment in here. I just got to get to it. Eric Streeter, welcome back. Haven't heard from you in a bit. Is there a good chance for a trade the Chiefs before the trade deadline? Maybe a linebacker or corner, specifically an offensive lineman for a veteran contributor on defense. It's certainly a possibility. You got to see how the attrition goes on the O-line, though.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs aren't going to probably move any of their offensive linemen at this point until they get more out of them because they have a lot of interior guys. Like maybe they move an Austin Blythe. I think that's probably what you're looking at in terms of if you're going to move an offensive lineman. He's probably your best bet. Everyone else here is already familiar with the system, but it's going to be interesting because I think they're going to have opportunities to trade. And if this Willie Gay injury lingers, they might feel the need to get somebody in here.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Tyler, we'll give you our score predictions on Friday's game plan video. We take the time during the week to study up, and then we'll give it to you there just before we go off the air. And if you guys missed it, the first public viewing of the Roguehead Huddle, the podcast that Stevie and Gooch do, debuted on Saturday. And you're going to have that on Saturdays this whole season. So look for them to be coming into your living rooms or into your phones, at least, wherever you happen to be. Spencer, do you guys think that Fountain could outsnap Robinson this year?
No.
I don't think he has much of a chance unless Robinson has an injury that allows him to get into the game. Yeah. Once he's in the game, he could grab a stranglehold on it. But getting that opportunity is going to be the hurdle, I think.
Yeah, I think that I actually think that they have Hill and Hardman as their 1 and 2 right now, and you have Pringle and Robinson behind them. And outside of those 4 receivers, there's not going to be much room to go around with 4 tight ends on the roster too. That's the way I see it.
I'm with you. I'm falling farther behind, folks. So we're going to hit these little quickness here, and then I'll let Dan take one. Will Gore be activated from the practice squad? No, not this week. Do you think that who's the better chain mover? It's Forson. He's got the bigger advantage over the linebackers that he'll face in coverage than Fountain does over the corners.
Pringle's better than both of them, though.
So. I agree as well. Is there an athletic matrix for Dorian O'Daniel versus JOK? I mean, you can have them both. They're in their respective years. They're all available on Rogue Analytics. That's rogueapc.com. You can get both the books and compare them. I haven't pulled them both up. Maybe we'll look at that later.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I will tell you that JOK is higher on that board. I will tell you also that Willie Gay is much higher than JOK is. Dre, do you think that the Jags will try to claim Powell? They could have, but they missed it.
They took Ty Johnson from the Chargers, so I think that was their opportunity to do that, and then they decided to go a different direction.
Yeah. And Powell's back on the practice squad. So and for now, yes, somebody could come calling. Doesn't mean that he has to go sign with them, though. So the exposure has been passed. One of your main concern about could bring us a loss for Sunday. It's the running game of the Cleveland Browns for me.
It's going to be the trenches. That's what it is for me. If the offensive line starts to get confused at what's going on and they start losing because they're young and inexperienced, then that's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
that's what it is for me.
Tom, thank you for the super chat. I'm looking for a question. I don't see it yet, but I'll keep looking. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
I just had the next question too. Andrew, who's going to body Senior Odell? They're going to move Odell around to get him a positive matchup, which in this case means I don't think they're going to put him in the slot much against L'Jarius. I think they're going to avoid that. If they do, big chance for L'Jarius to announce himself to the league by taking on that matchup.
Immediately.
And I'm here for that.
Me too.
Hey, Ryan, does it cause concern that Matthew may not play against the Browns? Could it lead to a loss? It definitely would be a factor and could lead to a loss if he's not available, but I expect him to play.
Me too.
I don't want to mince any words there.
Yeah.
So offense gearing up to dink and dunk more with Gray and Fortson. What do you think?
I don't think that the tight ends are going to play that much. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I think that they're going to allow them more versatility, but 3-by-1 is going to be the majority of what they do. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. That's what you're going to see most of the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's see. I got Ben's. I got Tom's. I think I missed one here. No, I have it. It's right here. There we go.
There you go.
Longmorn. With Gay out, I'm looking for a bunch of blitzes against the run with Bolton. I mean,
some with Bolton probably.
Yeah, I mean, let's be a little bit careful. It's about disguise with Bolton. He's still an undersized guy going against his first NFL action against a real offensive lineman. Let's not bite the bullet off right at the head there. I'm not quite ready for that.
And that's one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Let's be very honest about that.
I'll tell you this: Nick Bolton versus Joel Bitonio, Nick loses all day long. It's not pretty to try to get inside that interior gap, especially because the thing that I like that Nick does the best is the delayed blitzing.
Yeah.
Usually through the A gap once the interior 3 are engaged, and if that happens, then I like the scenario.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, knock on wood. Just keep that rolling. Do you think the Chiefs are looking for? We're looking at KJ Wright after Willie's injury. Hate seeing him join the Raiders. I don't think so. They would have had their opportunity, and quite frankly, I think KJ would have joined the Chiefs over the Raiders any day.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, we got Tom, we got Longmore, we got Chris, and I want to get all the super chatters because we're not going to go a whole stream tonight, folks. Because I got hey, I'm within 6 degrees of target temp there out on the smokers, so the family's going to be coming down screaming at me. But Chris wants to know, with new O-line, give us a ballpark estimate on CH rushing yards and TDs this season. We'll revisit at the end of the season. Yes, keep us in line there, Chris.
Yeah, no
Go
problem.
ahead.
I'll give you 1,200, around 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's what I'll go.
Okay. I'm going to take a little bit less because I do think that there's going to be a little bit more timeshare. I actually think that he's going to be a little bit, I'm going to say 60-40 on air yards versus ground yards. I'll give him 900 on the ground and probably 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
But I do think he's going to catch, 500 yards?
I'm hoping to see something like that. I want to see at least 50 balls. Like, I want to see that.
I agree.
Thank you for the support, Chris. Thank you.
Yes, appreciate it. And thank you, Canadian Chief. If you guys would hit that thumbs up, that always tells people that they should check us out if they don't happen to know who we are and they're a Chiefs fan. Curtis, we don't know the lineup yet, and that's one of the things we expect to find out tomorrow is who's going to be practicing in Willie's spot. I do think they're going to start with Neiman and bring Nick in, but you never know. Nick made a lot of progress in camp, and if he's made more in the last few days since we've seen him, or last few weeks since we've seen him, that maybe that changes. I don't know. What do you need to see from Frank to reassure that he's all in, capable, available, and accountable? Ooh.
I just need to see him do a little bit more effort in the pass rush. I see him just bowling outside way too much. I don't see many counters inside. He needs to start collapsing the pocket a little bit more. He's getting too far the outside. And he's always been a pretty consistent run defender. It's for me, it's just about it's about the pass rush. You're here making $20 million a year to be a productive pass rusher. Let's be honest about that.
Well, for me, I need to see 80% of the defensive snaps, period. Game to game, year for total, whatever. And I have to see the pressure come through. That's what it'll take for me. Who's the weak link in the O-line, and who is the backbone in your opinion? It's tough to see. We haven't seen them play together against real competition, you guys.
Yeah, it's not going to be something we're going to really have any clue on right now. If I had to just kind of throw a name out there, and this has nothing to do with the talent level of anybody, it would be Niang specifically because you can shadow some of the interior pressure that you're going to see from these guys with, some help from attack, a running back or something like that. You can kind of chip on the outside, but they're going to do their best to isolate Niang. A year not playing, a year removed from playing, that kind of thing. So I think that's where it's going to start. But again, it's just a crapshoot at this point. We don't really know.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I hope we have a better idea after this week 1, but it'll take a while. In the end, I would guess that the anchor of the unit is Joe Thuney, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Lego, I think that's foresight. I don't think Cam has everything that he used to have. I'm not a huge fan of Mac Jones either, but I think that is more about Mac than it is about Cam.
Put Mac Jones and Cam Newton together, you got a great quarterback.
Right? I like that plan. And I'm not talking platoons and fantasy here, guys. Seth, hello to Canada. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate the support up there in the north. I know the days are starting to get shorter up there, so hey, hope you're doing well. Let's see. Nelson, what do you guys think Hughes will do on special teams punt return? He was a beast at UCF. I think he's going to have opportunities to make plays. And honestly, the number of opportunities will be dependent on his play on defense. So I hope that he gets the opportunity to take advantage of them.
Yeah, I do too. He was really good in the preseason, so I'm excited to see him help flip some field for us in the regular season. For sure.
Okay, Jake, I got you. I must have just missed it over the top there. So Jake asked, what strengths do the Browns have against the Chiefs besides the run game? And what areas do you think the Chiefs can attack the Browns at and find consistent success? After you.
Let's see here. So really, I don't think that the Browns have any other strengths outside the run game. That's what it is. That's what they've built it on. I think that their pass game, if it's going to be successful, it's going to be because of the run game. I think that it's a very young defense. You have a front four that's going to have some advantage against the Chiefs' offensive line. I think that they can still scheme some ways to be successful. So I guess I'll revise my statement and say that the best chance that they have to having a success that's not the run game is that front four against the Chiefs offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like I'm not sure about their secondary, but the
It's
front
not
of
very
that
good.
defense is formidable. So I would say that as well. And I think the Chiefs can find consistent success by using play action. Period.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're going to get in terms of the box if they start and run a little bit, pepper that play action in. I think they'll have a tendency to get some better boxes so that they have fewer guys that they have to work around in the secondary. And I think that is a recipe for success for this team.
They have a very young linebacker core too. Look for Travis Kelce to be exploring, like just exposing that. That's
Yeah,
what I'm looking for.
I agree. Carolina, the KC linebackers, I think, are fine against Nick Chubb. As long as they're in zone coverage, I think the KC linebackers are going to be okay. It's when they have to get in man on man. And quite frankly, what I'm concerned about is Nick Bolton and more in particular, Ben Neiman against Kareem Hunt, who has become a very good route runner as a back. I think that's an advantage for them.
Nick David Njoku also destroyed the Chiefs in the postseason last year.
Yep.
They're going to use a lot of 2 tight end sets, and there isn't. Unfortunately, there's no longer a linebacker that's healthy that can cover him. I think Willie Gay gives you the best option, but he carved them up pretty good in some big chunk gains in the postseason game. So that's what I'm hoping to see a little bit less of this week.
Agreed.
This week.
Yeah. I would like to see less chunks just overall. That's going to come down to Sorensen there drawing the tight end coverage
Yeah.
is my best guess. Let's see. Next question mark. Lego, we're fine on Baker. I think Dan liked him a little bit more than I did, but I haven't seen enough of him becoming a franchise quarterback for me yet. And honestly, I think that's how their franchise feels too.
I don't know if this is Baker Mayfield or DeAndre Baker. So
Oh, okay. Oh,
so, okay,
DeAndre Baker?
I'll just give you my opinion on both because I'm pretty high on DeAndre Baker. I think he could be a starting level corner opposite whoever they want to put, whether it's Snead, whether it's going to be Hughes. I think that's a very good 3 guys you got there. I think Baker Mayfield can actually be I think he can get to top 10 status in the NFL. Will he get there? I don't know. I think right now he's top 15. I'd have him at top 15. And this is that year that he needs to make that jump because the offense that they run, I'm not going to say it's an easy thing for a quarterback to do because nothing in the league is easy. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. And I can tell you that it's not easy, but it's much like the Titans. They have that run game. You build the play action game off of. It does make some things easier for a quarterback to do. And from what I've seen of Baker Mayfield, he gets out to his right and leaves a pocket far too much. He has time in that pocket to stand, go through his reads. So I want to see that this year. And that's really what's going to take him to that next level for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Henry, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're here. Say hi to Quincy for me. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great matchup. Pono, the level of linebacker you could get in return from a Cole is probably not anything that would upgrade the linebacker core.
Very true.
That's probably just the truth of it. Ben, can Orlando Brown block Myles Garrett and protect Patrick? Yes, he has for the last, 3 seasons?
Yeah.
I mean, Garrett's going to get his. He is good. But those two have played each other, twice a season for the last 4 years? No, 3 years.
Yeah, and from actually what I've gathered from watching those, Myles Garrett hates playing against the Ravens because they will chop him. They will just send tight ends at him. So I think this season, Orlando Brown has a much more difficult task because he's going to essentially play him one-on-one. He's not going to have much help, and he does not like to help his tackles if he can help it. With the addition of David Clowney and then Malik McDowell, who you guys are going to hear from me a lot of on Friday, there's going to be a lot of one-on-one opportunities. So I'm going to be watching that very closely to see what he can do.
Michael, if TJ Watt does not get an extension signed, good or bad year for Clark, do you release him and send the Brinks trunk to TJ's house? I don't think TJ's leaving, period. If he doesn't get signed to extension, they're going to franchise him. So
he'll be probably a career Pittsburgh Steeler.
That's exactly my thought as well. But no, I wouldn't overpay. You can't. You've already overpaid a defensive end that isn't what you expected in the first place. So
yeah, TJ's way better though.
That's absolutely true. I'm just saying. Julian, I watched the preseason games and the O-line looks 1,000 times better or 100 times better. Sorry, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Julian. I think the screens and inside runs are better and controlling the time possession. Your thoughts? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see more screens this year. That was from what Andy's done, and from what I saw at practices, from what I've seen in the clips of practice, what I've seen in the preseason, he's going to run more screens this year. So I'm excited about that. I think that's going to help Clyde. I think it's going to help everybody all together. But I think the biggest improvement is they're going to see more success inside. Yes, but this is also going to help their outside game. The outside zone is going to come back for them this year, and that is really the key to their success because they're going to actually be able to do it better, in my opinion.
I think they'll be able to do it better, but it's also about which defense keys more because I think the power runs are going to draw the defense in. So it depends whether that defensive coordinator is going to do that or not. So it may be a little hit or miss, but I agree with you in general. I'm glad you like it, Knicks fan. I'm liking it too. Be prepared for this to feel very, very different in what you don't see happening around Patrick.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
And thank you for the support, Knicks fan. We appreciate it.
Very much.
Who would be a surprise contributor Sunday, Dan?
Who could be? Man,
yeah.
That is actually a tough question that I'm not entirely sure. I think the only real guy that you're not going to like the answer either, is Ben Neiman. I think a slimmer Ben Neiman is better in coverage than he was last year, and that can help replicate a fraction of what you had in Willie Gay. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, and Ben, when he was lighter in his earlier season, he was noticeably a better player, and that is certainly going to, I think, be a positive for him. I will tell you this, that a surprise contributor for me, I think, might be Gray. I kind of feel like they held him and kind of limited him. I think they have a specific package for him that's going to make him transition into the league a little bit. And I don't know, by my standards, I'm talking like, could he get 50 yards? Possibly. Yeah, I'm not talking about, 3 touchdowns or something like that, but I think Andy's been a little coy with what he wants to do with Noah Gray. Lego, do you see Kareem Hunt being more in the RPO passing game than the run game? Yes, I think that's where he's best.
That's where the Browns have really used him. Like he's just been that way for the Browns because you have the best runner in the NFL and Nick Chubb. So
Joseph, great question. Does Spags have a history of allowing his corners to travel? I won't say a history of allowing it. He's had some that were capable of it. He's had a lot of years where they weren't. And unfortunately, while Legarius is, I'm not sure anybody else is, and you have to have at least a pair in order to do that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Great question, Joseph. Will our defense hold up enough against the Browns without Matthew? My guess is going to be no. If Matthew's not available, I think that gives the edge to the Browns just enough that with Odell and some of their, Jarvis gets overlooked all the time. He is crafty.
So overlooked.
And he makes his money in that robber level area where Tyron should be. So that's going to be a problem as well.
Yeah, but I expect him to play. So
I do too. Knicks fan, thank you. Been a while since I've been able to chat. Love all the content. Thank you guys. MVP.
Thank you.
I like that nickname. We're going to go with it there, Knicks fan. I appreciate it. And it's good to see you back. I hope you're doing well. Red Hood, we have 4 tight ends active. When we have 4 tight ends active, I think we'll be more expected the position that we go short at. Most likely that's generally going to be the offensive line. That's where they usually carry a few extras on game day. I don't expect 4 tight ends active very often, you guys, though. Certainly not week 1.
Me either. And that's just because Andy doesn't even really have a history of keeping 4 tight ends that often. So the fact that they do just kind of makes me think that they're just going to be like, oh, you're not going to play this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. Aaron, thank you for getting me caught up on Tom because Tom super chatted and I must have missed the actual comment. Do you think we get 1,000 yards from CH, Kelsey, and Hill?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I think that CH has 1,200 rushing yards, and we all know that Kelsey and Hill are a lock for over 1,000 if they stay healthy. So I will say yes.
Absolutely. I will say yes as well if it's combined yards for Clyde. Like I said earlier, I don't think he gets there just on the ground. Combined, certainly.
He had 800 before he went out last time.
Right. So
before Bell. So
yeah, I know. I think they're a little worried about volume for him, to be strictly honest. But we might have hit, folks. We might have hit temp. I'm just telling you. Okay. We're going to wrap up these super chats, and I got to run. In fact, I do have to tell the wife to just open it up. Right, so because I don't want to ruin dinner.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing. We don't want to ruin Ryan's dinner time with his family. That could be a bad thing.
You'll never see me again. The wife will hold a grudge. Ben, thank you very much for your super
thank
chat.
you.
We appreciate it. We've answered yours, and I'm sure that you have one in here. DW, thank you. Drafted Pat and Travis 1 and 2. You have a shot. You definitely do. Thank you for the support, and I hope that you
Very
enjoy
much.
it. We got a couple others here, you guys. DW again, thank you. Chiefs.
Thank you.
And I got Ben's other one, another one from Ben. Ben, thank you as always for supporting the show. I very much appreciate it. I'm going to go grab dinner and make sure I don't ruin this thing. So thank you for letting us get off early. And we're going to get back with you tomorrow. We have some great stuff coming for Cleveland Browns week, and we'll be back with you here shortly. Dan, enjoy your week.
Thank you, everyone. This is going to be a fun week. Just remember, we have lots of stuff coming. The Chiefs are finally back on Sunday, and that's what it means.
Don't miss the game plan. We have a very special guest for you guys that you're going to love.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Lady D, thank you for the support. I'm glad you made it. I'm sorry we're signing off, but that's where we're at tonight. You guys have a great week. We'll catch up. Talk to you then.